There are countless sources of information out there. So what do we do when we find an unfamiliar source to determine if it's something that we want to trust? Now, this may surprise you, but I'd advise you to do what fact checkers around the world do as their first step. I want you to go to Wikipedia and get a summary of what that person, that publication, or group behind that website is all about. Now, Wikipedia is an online encyclopedia or a reference source with entries being added and updated all the time. And I know you may have heard bad things about Wikipedia in the past, but the Wikipedia community has strict rules about sourcing facts to reliable sources, and any errors in Wikipedia are usually corrected very quickly. And because authors must adopt a neutral point of view, its articles are often the best available introduction to a subject on the web. Now, in some cases, like if you're writing a research report, you don't want to use Wikipedia as your main source of information, but it can be really useful for gaining context to help orient you to what a source is all about. So in this video, I'm going to show you a simple technique to use Wikipedia to assess sources. So here's an example. This is an article from the New York Times reporting that the e-cigarette vaping company Juul is being accused of intentionally buying ads on sites like Nickelodeon and the Cartoon Network in order to target teenagers. So what we do is this: we go up to the search bar here. We're going to strip off everything from that / over, and we're just going to type Wikipedia here. Now, that's nothing special about this search. This is just a search. You'll see it floats the Wikipedia article to the top of the search results. What do we look for on that Wikipedia page? It varies. Rather than giving you a checklist of things to look for on a Wikipedia page, I just want you to focus on two organizing questions. First, is the site or organization the type of source that you thought it was? And second, does the new information make the source more or less trustworthy? So, for instance, if we go to the New York Times, we first look on the box to the right. It says, it's a daily newspaper founded in 1851. It's been around for about 170 years. Now, age doesn't necessarily mean a source is reliable, but the fact it has been around so long shows at the very least it's a well-established organization. There are also reliable sources that haven't been around long at all, of course. These pieces of information only provide clues or signals. We can't draw conclusions from any one of them individually, but together they start to paint a picture. Then we read the article for more details. We see that it's an American newspaper with worldwide influence and readership, that is considered a national newspaper of record. It also has won Pulitzer Prizes for its journalism. In fact, more Pulitzer Prizes than any other newspaper. If we expected this to be a major news source, all of these signs match our expectations. And remember that all claims made in Wikipedia are backed up by citations, so you can always scroll down if you want to verify those citations firsthand. Now, here's an example from a publication called the Buffalo Chronicle. Now, the headline may seem plausible, but before we even think about the claim being made, we're going to investigate the source. If you just add Wikipedia to the URL, you won't see an entry for it in the search results. But what you do see is it appears in a Wikipedia article called List of Fake News Sites. Clicking into that article, we can read that the Buffalo Chronicle posts fake news, often Canadian. If we wanted to investigate further, we could scroll down and check the citations to learn more. Sometimes these dubious sites do publish real news, but regardless of whether or not a particular story is accurate, this is not the source we want to get our news from. Now, there's nothing magic about this technique, right? This will work in any browser. It'll work with any search engine. If you're using a phone or a tablet, you can just open a new tab and search the name of the site along with the word Wikipedia, and you get to the Wikipedia entry just as quickly. So what happens if you do this Wikipedia trick and you don't find an entry? Major news sources usually have an entry on Wikipedia. So if you think you're reading something from a trusted major news organization and they don't have a Wikipedia page, that could be a sign that it's not the source you thought it was. Now, that doesn't mean the story is wrong, right? That doesn't mean it's a bad source, but it's enough that you might want to try to find the story from a more established source, or at the very least, slow down and check everything twice.